Good afternoon. Yes, we are with. Just wanted to say that the presentations before have already underscored the need for us in the OECS and the wider Caribbean to focus on sustainable transport and e-mobility. As has been said, for the OECS, really transportation is a major user of energy, and we see the implications, particularly when the cost of oil goes up at the international level. What we've observed from the work of the ETC as well as from other work in the field of sustainable energy is that our transportation policies and plans in the region do not exist in most cases, and when they actually exist, they are very limited. They do not make adequate accommodation for sustainable transport and the new measures that are being proposed for us to address the transportation sector and hikes in fuel cost. So there's need for a holistic approach for policy development and planning for transportation that includes sustainable energy. As we have heard, e-mobility, especially when paired with renewables, has already emerged as a good option for the OECS. But we need a supported infrastructure. Even when we do have electric vehicles on island, in most cases, the use of them is to some extent hindered by the lack of charging infrastructure in most of the English speaking. We need our policies to reflect those developments and to make the adjustment, particularly with the legislation when it comes to the cost and the prices for charging, if we have to use charging infrastructure that would allow for public use. There's need for some capacity building. So we have done some basic training across the region in terms of those persons who are actually auto mechanics, as well as the persons who are involved in the emergency side of things. But there's need for continued and expanded capacity building across the sector. And an important issue has to do with financing. And I say financing, although we do have lending institutions that have really grasped this opportunity and are now providing special facilities for electric cars. But when we look at the actual cost of an electric car, it is still a bit prohibitive to the average person in the OECS. And so these situations really calls for ultimately innovation and for partnerships. The Commission has done some preliminary work working between the energy and climate change areas of our work. So for instance, we have developed the use of the e-mobility toolkits, which allow policymakers to identify the relevant policy instruments and interventions that can be used within our context. And that toolkit also allows for a cost-benefit scenario when we look at the different e-vehicles available to our consumers in the region. But a very interesting initiative that is ongoing, which really builds on the work that Jonathan has spoken of, is under the energy in transition component that the OECS is leading. And we have our colleague now, Mr. Kurt Harris, who is the dean at the Sir Arthur Lewis Community College. And what the college is actually assisting with regard to this project is to really take this theoretical analysis and to apply a robust method of analyzing it from a practical, demonstrative perspective. So I'll now invite Mr. Harris, who will share with you some of the ongoing work and plans which actually address an actual electric vehicle retrofit under the ETC project. Mr. Harris. I can see him online. I know he did have to step out. Okay, well, in the interest of time, I can share a little bit because he did provide the slides. So just allow me for me to share my slides, and I will speak to some of the work that is ongoing. Okay, so essentially, as I indicated, the Sir Arthur Lewis Community College has already positioned itself or wishes to position itself as a research and innovation institution for the OECS. And we are partnering with them to help undertake this conversion of the fossil fuel vehicle in St. Lucia. As Jonathan indicated, the study already looked at what would be the best vehicles to actually do the retrofit. And this particular component, we are trying to do a minibus, which would allow for some public use of the retrofitted vehicle. Currently, the packs have been ordered. The college is using both its staff and its students to facilitate the actual retrofit. And what we are trying to do is not only to do the retrofit, but to also do a comparative analysis between the performance of a average internal combustion engine bus and a comparative retrofitted electric bus. So our colleagues at Sir Arthur Lewis, they have received some additional training, I think up to a couple of months ago, with support from the government of Taiwan. And they have been able to use their knowledge. This is outside of their regular duties, but it's part of an interest that the college has. And as I said, they're including the students as well. And they are using their knowledge to retrofit this bus. The intention is once we have gotten the necessary permits, once we have worked through some of the insurance issues, that we will be able to put that bus on the road and use this for about a year to really do some comparative analysis, looking at the fuel consumption, looking at if there are any issues that we need to take into consideration as we continue to promote e-mobility. And as we continue to develop that policy and regulatory framework that we have spoken about within the OECS for electric vehicles. We have some issues that we need to think of. We are currently developing, for example, a conversion guide. So this will be used as a bit of a manual for the OECS. Hopefully we will be able to get our other colleges, technical colleges, to implement a retrofit program as part of the courses that they are delivering to students. And we very much look forward to completing this exercise and to be able to report at some point the findings from this actual retrofit. We are hopeful that this will not only look at the technical aspects of the conversion, but that the observations and the results will help guide the overall policy for electric vehicles and the electric vehicle retrofit sector. So looking at the economic aspects, looking at where we may be able to provide some level of incentives to support this. Because as Jonathan and Raisa have indicated, the possibility of electric retrofits in our small island context really offers benefits beyond that of electric cars in terms of making it affordable to the average person, but also helping us to deal with some of the issues such as waste management, for instance. We do have quite a few internal combustion engine vehicles on island, and these do have a lifespan. And so when their lifespan has been realized, we don't have so many facilities to help cope with the emerging solid waste management. So for us, we see this electric vehicle retrofit as a comprehensive solution for us within the small island context that really addresses not only sustainable energy and sustainable transport, but also waste management, and as indicated, allowing us to develop some aspects of our green economy in the context of green jobs and new skills for our population, ultimately leading to a better quality of life for us. So thank you very much. I may be limited in answering some of the technical questions, but I'm sure in the future we will be able to share with you some more information on how this exciting, innovative undertaking has progressed. Thank you.